I'm sitting beneath a humming fluorescent bulb, nervously fingering the corner of a dog-eared notebook, shifting uncomfortably in a stained county-issue office chair. The fire plan check examiner in a crisp white shirt reaches for one of those weird triangular rulers I don't really know how to use yet. He calls over the lead San Francisco Fire Department engineer to scrutinize my plans even further. So I just spent the previous 6 weeks training my direct replacement at this plumbing company. I was a terrible secretary. If I don't get this permit today, I might not have a job tomorrow. I'm mentally rewriting my cover letter. I'm thinking about sliding into yet another crappy database job at yet another crappy startup. My ass is grass. I'm jolted back to reality with the thuds of several old school rubber stamps. Hey, here you go, nice work. Rob hands me my rolled up blueprints as I stride triumphantly to the payment counter at the Department of Building Inspection. Y'all, sex is great, but have you ever gotten a building permit in San Francisco on the first try? All right, that's my story, I'm done. No. So DBI, if you haven't had the pleasure of going there, especially the old joint at 1660 Mission, it's where dreams go to die. It's where permit expediters go to catch up on their Facebook shitposting. It's where 1 gallon per minute of water can cost you $32,000 in a water meter. It's where that jerk down the street that never even saw the house, bought it off Redfin and sat on scene, gets to gut his historic Victorian, make it look like an IKEA inside. That's where they get permission for that. I digress. So as I'm learning how to navigate the whole DBI building permit process, I'm cutting my teeth on some really sweet houses in San Francisco. When you demolish an old Victorian, you can literally see the layers of history in it, like the rafters and the beams from different additions that got built on. You might demolish an interior wall, and then you see some exterior siding from 1930-something pop out. So I'm vibing, life is good. My bosses actually have me plan an employee appreciation boat tram charter. Thank you. I stayed late. So my bosses were Irish. I got little shamrock, cutting out things to punch people's tickets as they got on the boat tram. And then they canceled it the morning of. I remember sitting next to my boss at DBI. Sorry, I remembered this yesterday. I'm very emotional about it. Knowing that the boat tram was out, I called up my friend down at the museum. I was like, hey, Frank, the boat tram is out. I'm not going to be on it. Find some people who'd enjoy it. Anyway, I'm vibing. COVID hits. I start kind of freelancing. It gets a little messy. I'm like, whatever. They had me post an ad on a website like, hey, fire sprinkler design available. I'm like, all right, cool. I ended up getting contacted by a firm in Portland through this very ad they had me post. Haha, ironic. So I feel pretty good. I feel like the prettiest girl at the dance, especially as someone who didn't finish college. I get flown out for a job interview. I stay in a little hotel. All is good. So I accept the job. It seems like a really good opportunity to learn something past expensive house after expensive house. And so I get my 2 weeks there. All is good. So I get to Portland. We're settling in. Well, sorry, let me back up. So I take a trades dad style walk through the Lower Haight, my beloved third place. I pour a number of IPAs down my throat because I'm really sad to leave San Francisco, but excited for the opportunity. So I head down Fillmore from Webster Street, and I turn left. I'm like, that valve box is there because of me. I walk a couple more blocks, I'm like, that fire department connection is there because of me. It's 48 inches off the ground. I go up a little bit more. I go to Scott Street, zigzagging via Pierce and Page. They still have their construction fencing up. I wonder when move-in is. So I'm heartbroken to leave my city, but excited for new opportunities. So we get to Portland, I'm settling in, my ever-patient better half found a job in corporate cannabis sales, and I'm learning a lot, but I go into my colleague Wes's office one day, and I notice a really distinctive yellow and black logo in the upper left-hand corner of his screen. And I'm like, no, this can't be it. This is the year of our Lord 2021. Men don't look at pornography at work on their work computers when both monitors face the doorway. No. This is Oregon. I learned that very quickly. So as we started working together on projects more closely, he would call me in and minimize it just in time. So as I'm experiencing all this, my boss, who was so happy to hire me away from San Francisco, where all my friends and family are, I drove a really cool truck in Portland. If anybody else here is a Volkswagen person, it was a 1980 VW Rabbit pickup. It was diesel, got 50 miles per gallon, it was sweet. So because I didn't need a stepladder to get in it, he would like bounce my bumper when I was pulling into work every single morning. At this time, I didn't have very many human friends, so we started walking our kitty cat, LeBron James. If you want to look him up, he's goat_of_cats on IG. He's written the Boat Tram. But we started walking our kitty cat, so every weekend I'd take him to a bar, hiking to a brewery, whatever. And every Monday morning, Richard would ask, "Hey, what did you do this week?" And I'd tell him, like, my kitty cat out. "Oh, you're lucky you got a man now. That's not going to be cute when you're older." There was one day it was hot. I wore a skirt. I was called Hootenanny from there on out. Never called my real name after that. So May 15, 2021 rolls around. The F Market and Subway are reopening. They're having a city ceremony. You've been to those before. My dear friend Chris is playing the San Francisco Lesbian Gay Freedom Band. The best band in San Francisco. She's playing flute in a beautifully rainbow-piped marching band uniform under the California sun. Mayor London Breed speaks. The head of Muni Operations speaks. Blah, 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 blah. But then Rick Laubscher comes up. And I've mentioned I had an amount of time at the Mark Street Railway. I spent a lot of time in the museum. I worked there for a little bit because I was between jobs. It happens. But kids love two things in that museum: wailing on the bell in the streetcar and then pressing play on a video and running away. And that video that they'd press play and run away on was the 1906 drive down Market Street. And everyone was wearing a hat. Sorry, that's my Rick voice. So he starts talking, and my heart is in my throat, and my eyes start stinging, because I'm just hearing all this like really familiar voice, and then he stops. London Breed comes up, and she's like, "And now to finish the ceremony, we're going to take a ride on the boat tram." So the person on IG Live climbs in the boat tram. I hear the very distinctive toot. And the dam just breaks. It completely breaks. I'm just hysterical. I can't sit at work. I'm commenting on that IG Live thread like a sad guy on Pornhub, hoping that the actress is going to notice him. I'm throwing out likes on it, hoping that I'm not going to shatter my phone screen. I need to go home. I'm too upset. I can't dodge Wes all day. So I pack up my stuff. I go downstairs, and Christine, the office lady, she asked me, like, "Oh, my God, what happened? Why are you so upset?" And I couldn't speak. I was just so upset. And so all I can do is... the boat tram is out. For people in the back, I have like a 6x8 gigantic boat tram tattoo. It's in a fantasy livery of the green and cream Muni wings from like the mid-40s, but on a boat tram that never existed. So I'm watching San Francisco reopen from afar. I have to be like sent out of the room when a Rice-A-Roni commercial comes on. It is that bad. So I start searching for a job. I found one on Facebook of all places, like on a post that wasn't even on a job board. It was just in sprinkler design form. "We need somebody full-time, please come through." I have a job interview. I came down, I stayed on my friend's couch. I played more music in San Francisco than I did my entire time in Portland. Life is good. Found an apartment in the Excelsior. The 14 is my bus again. So we pack up our shit. I'm really glad I started that OnlyFans account for LeBron James. And we end up driving down the coast to San Francisco. So, engineering break. There's two different types of fire hydrants. There's dry stem and there's wet stem fire hydrants. The dry stem, they have a nut on the top, and those exist because, you know how when you get a warm six-pack from the store, you might throw one in the freezer because you want it now? But then you forget about it, and you wake up to a huge mess in the morning. All right, now imagine that with a 12-inch water main and a really expensive fire hydrant. So the wet stem fire hydrants have the water in them all the time, and it doesn't matter because they are installed in warmer climates. So as we're driving down the coast, this is physical visual proof that it's never gonna snow again. I'm from Texas. I don't take the cold climate. I've lived in San Francisco for too long. I can only take like an 8-degree seasonal shift, that's it. And so as my best boy, LeBron James, and I crossed that big orange bridge, I turned to him and I assured him, the grass is greenest in Golden Gate Park.